Thank you for coming in, Jessica. We would like to start off with you telling us about yourself.
Of course. I'm a mother of 3 daughters. I live in Goliad. I have 10 years of accounting experience, and the last 3 of those years is in school finance. I'm just about to graduate with my bachelor's degree in business and really ready to get started in the career that I'd like to have, which is in management.
Our first question that we're going to start off is, why should we hire you when we have applicants with more experience or better credentials?
Absolutely. I would say, well, most people think that having experience is a benefit. In some ways, I can see it as a negative because people with experience, especially a lot of years with working experience, can be set in their ways. And that could be that they're not ready or willing to try new things. That could be new software, new policies and procedures that you might want to put into place. So even though I might not have the same amount of experience as someone else that would be applying for this position, it's not always the best thing on the market because they could be very set in their ways. They could look at what changes you're wanting to make in a negative way and kind of give you a little bit of pushback, where I'm kind of a blank page. I can be molded into anything that you would like for me to be. I'm open to learning new techniques and learning new dynamics, where someone with several years of experience might just be only willing to do things their way and not really willing to change.
Thank you. Our second question that we're going to ask you is, how do you think that you can contribute to this company?
Absolutely. I think the biggest contribution would be that I'm ready and willing to give you exactly what you're wanting. So one of my questions to you would be, what would the perfect candidate look like if you could build them from the ground up? Because I would be willing to fill every single one of those boxes for you. In my positions, I might not have had a management title, but I have led many teams. I have trained many colleagues into tasks that have been asked of them. I've created training modules. I've led finance meetings. I've done presentations. I've built presentations for upper management to use. So I actually have quite a lot to contribute with my 10 years of accounting experience. I'm very well knowledgeable in the general accounting principles. In school finance, I'm very well aware of the TEA policies. I've gone through several audits. I've done credit card cleanups. I've taken a school that was coming from having fraud in their team to being able to trust a complete stranger who had never had any school finance experience before that. And so I look at those as major milestones in my career, and I would say that I have quite a lot to contribute to your company. As a student, I had to learn many things. I thought I knew Excel until I took a statistics class, and then it really showed me how in-depth Excel works. And I think that's how life is in general. You think you know something because you saw the surface, but under the surface there lies so many more aspects to learn and find out, and I think that's what you would find with me. So I feel like I have quite a lot to offer your company.
Okay, our last final question question that we're going to ask you is, tell me about a time when you solved a difficult problem.
Absolutely. There's been quite a few over the years, so give me just a second to think of the best one I want to share. So I worked for a utility company. It was a nonprofit utility company, and I worked there 7.5 years total, but we went through a lot of manager changes while I was there. And in my first 2 years, I want to say we went through 3 different managers, and in 6 years' time, I had probably been through 7 managers. In the first couple of years, we went through probably about a 6-month stage where my team basically managed itself. And whenever you're a team who learns how to manage yourself, it kind of makes you as a team very picky about who's going to come in to be your manager. Now, once we started getting managers, we became even more picky because they kept giving us people who were leaving after 6 to 8 months. So we didn't even have a manager who would stay a year. I guess it was about 5 years after this kept going on. We had a little bit of we were just unsettled as a team. We had about half of us who had been there longer than 2 to 3 years, and then half of us who were practically new employees. And there was just this ripple effect that was happening, and there were people who didn't trust some of the newbies, and some of us older ones who were just getting tired and fed up with the way that things were going, not keeping managers on track, or the company hiring brand new managers out of college who hadn't really had any working experience, and they didn't know how to handle some of the stress that was coming from our team. And it was actually in this moment where there was one person who wasn't really, to the rest of us, seeming like a team player. But one of the managers from the other offices came in and said that the rest of us, were actually being bullies toward this one employee. And so it kind of, again, got everybody on edge. And I finally called the other manager who came to the office, and I said, look, I'm the most tenured one here, but I feel like everybody looks at me as, they're a lateral coworker. So how can I, as a lateral coworker, help lead my team into being more open-minded and seeing this other coworker as a person? And so she said, well, she was actually the first person who ever told me that you don't have to be a manager. You don't have to have the manager title in order to lead a team. And she said, you coming forward and asking me this is actually leadership skills in itself. And so I was able to meet with my team just as a group through like a little chit-chat social situation and say, hey, we need to get back to where we were 3 years ago. We didn't single anybody out. We just said, hey, you're slacking in this area, or hey, I notice you're not at your best. Is there something I can do to help you? And we need to get back to that. We don't need to single anybody out and say, well, you didn't come in, or I had to cover for you. Like, let's just start helping each other. And so we were able to overcome that moment because I was able to step up and actually lead these girls.
Amazing. Thank you. This will conclude our
Thank
interview.
you.